is a spiritual deity. Freedom and liberty and justice shall fight for you. When you fight for freedom with all your soul, take it from me. This is Broadcasting Corporation of Biafra, BCB, the voice of the nation, the voice.
And here is a special announcement from the leadership of Biafra government in exile. This is BCB.
Biafra government in exile official statement. BGIE commend all Igbos and all Biafrans for remaining calm and uninvolved in the ongoing protests in Nigeria. BGIE supports a peaceful agitation for the independence of the sovereign state of Biafra through negotiations, dialogue, and a free and fair referendum. BGIE supports the statement issued by the coalition of pro-Biafra groups, cancelling sit at home in the Southeast region over End Bad Government in Nigeria protest, and urge all Biafrans to go about their normal businesses. BGIE note that during the 1967 to 1970 genocidal war to exterminate Biafrans by Nigeria, the entire eastern region was reduced to rubble and a war zone, while those in the west and northern Nigeria went about their normal business. The agitation for a separate independent Biafra nation will remain peaceful, and BGIE commend pro-Biafra groups including Eastern People's Congress, EPC, Movement for the Actualization of the Sovereign State of Biafra, MASOB, Bilia Human Rights Initiative, Biafra Revolutionary Front, Biafra Revolutionary Organization, Biafra Reconciliation Group, and the Union of Biafra Scientists and Engineers for adopting a peaceful approach towards the agitation. BGIE strongly warns a few miscreants who are committing crime in the name of Biafra restoration, and we seriously urge them to stop henceforth. Any violent attack on our own people and also on law enforcement is a crime that carries severe consequences. Therefore, we expect peace in the entire Biafra land, eastern region, and we also expect that the Nigerian government will consider speedily the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and all other Biafra detainees. We expect that the entire Southeast region will continue to be peaceful, to allow all markets, schools, hospitals, banks, and other commercial activities and venues to be open and continue their business uninterrupted. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless the nation of Biafra. Ikechukwu Ezerora, Head of Media and Communication, Biafra Government in Exile.
This is BCB, the Broadcasting Corporation of Biafra, bringing you the news headlines for the week. In the news this week, being Igbo becoming tough in Nigeria, Nnamdi Kanu's lawyer. Protests. Dangerous ethnic profiling of Igbos must stop, Southeast lawmakers warn. End bad governance protesters defy plea. Continue demonstrations in Lagos and Port Harcourt. Stay tuned for the details coming shortly. From the Daily Post, being Igbo becoming tough in Nigeria, Nnamdi Kanu's lawyer, Ejimako. The lead counsel of Nnamdi Kanu, leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Aloy Ejimako, has said it's becoming tougher being Igbo in Nigeria. Ejimako was reacting to the Igbo must go threat against the people of the southeast. Daily Post reported that there are calls on social media trending under the hashtag Igbo must go on X, demanding the forced relocation of Igbo people from Lagos and from the southwest states. An X handle, which is known for its anti-Igbo comments and posts, urged Igbos residing in Lagos state to vacate their land. Commenting, former Vice President of Nigeria, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, declared that it was not only divisive but also endangered the peace and security. Reacting to the trend, Ejimako said Kanu's continued detention was evidence that being Igbo is becoming tough in Nigeria. Posting on X, Ejimako wrote, "It's getting tougher being Igbo in Nigeria. The best evidence is the continued detention of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu." Hunger protests. Dangerous ethnic profiling of Igbos must stop. Southeast lawmakers warn. Members of the National Assembly from the Southeast region have frowned against the ethnic profiling of people of Igbo ethnicity following the ongoing nationwide hunger protests. Senator Enyinnaya Abaribe, leader of the Southeast Senate Caucus of the National Assembly, and Igariwe Iduma, leader of the Southeast Caucus of the House of Representatives, in a statement berated those propagating the ethnic profiling of Igbos. The statement read, "The attention of the Southeast Caucus of the National Assembly has been drawn to the unfortunate and dangerous ethnic profiling of Igbos in the ongoing mass protests across the country. For the record, the Igbo nation, in obedience to the advice of their leaders, governors, Ohaneze Ndigbo worldwide, parliamentarians, and others in the private sector, had taken a reasoned and strategic decision not to participate in the ongoing nationwide protests. This is evident in the relative calm experienced in the 5 southeast states. We are, therefore, surprised and disappointed that Igbos are still made scapegoats and targeted as instigators of the protests, as shown in several statements such as Igbo must go hashtag and call by a certain Lagospedia X Twitter handle and videos seen online. The dangerous ethnic profiling is unwarranted and must stop. It was such profiling that led to the millions of deaths in Nigeria from the 1950s to the unfortunate civil war in 1967 to 70. Elsewhere in Africa, it led to the genocide in Rwanda and xenophobia in South Africa. Such should not be our fate again in Nigeria. We demand, therefore, that the security agencies bring to book the purveyors of these hate speeches in line with the Cybercrimes Act and criminal laws of the country. We continue to appeal to Igbos across the country to stay away from the protests and remain law-abiding. After end bad governance, protesters defy plea, continue demonstrations in Lagos, Port Harcourt. from Channels TV. After 2 days of demonstrations across the country, protesters have again gathered in Lagos and Port Harcourt in Nigeria's coastal state of Rivers as they continue to push for their demands. The demonstrations, which began on August 1st in several cities, are to draw attention to the challenges facing Nigerians, with inflation figures reaching 34%, making the cost of basic items beyond the reach of millions of households. Although authorities, including religious bodies leaders, had appealed to the demonstrators to shelve their protest after 2 days, as early as 8 a.m., placard-wielding youths hit the streets in Lagos and Port Harcourt. In Lagos, the protesters were gathered at the Ojota end of the state. While only a sprinkle of them were around in the early hours of the day, the number of protesters is swelling as the clock ticks. They had placards with different inscriptions to shore up momentum for their demands, which included the reversal of the fuel subsidy removal, among others. The protesters, who chanted different songs, lamented the insensitivity of authorities to the plight of the ordinary Nigerian, especially in the wake of the devaluation, which has seen the value of the naira slump to a historical low. Police officers were on ground at the rally venue to ensure hitch-free procession as the protesters continued their rally. Economic activities are also in full swing. Lagos' situation is not different from that of Port Harcourt. The protesters converged at the Pleasure Park in the state capital. Other parts of the cities are largely quiet, but the protest venue is becoming a beehive of activities as the demonstrations gather steam. Some of them were spotted waving the Nigerian flag, insisting on not backing down from the protest despite calls for them to return home. Officers of the counter-terrorism unit of the Rivers State Police Command, dressed in red headgear, were at the venue in what would be described as a show of force. Protesters are also in Benin City, Edo State, in what could be described as a carnival-like atmosphere. As of now, there are no signs of protests holding in other parts of Nigeria. The first 2 days of the rally were mostly peaceful, cutting across the northern and southern parts of Africa's most populous nation. But there are flashes of violence, looting, and clashes between the security operatives and some protesters. Some states like Katsina, Kaduna, Kano, Gombe, Yobe, Jigawa, Nasarawa saw some hoodlums hijacking the process and destroying infrastructure and looting properties. The governments in these states had imposed curfews to rein in the violence. Police authorities, in the wake of the ensuing violence, arrested some suspects, but business activities are expected to fully pick up in the coming days. Plea for the protesters to back down on the demonstrations have continued, both from political, religious leaders, and even security agencies. The Christian Association of Nigeria and the Sultan of Sokoto and the President of Nigeria's Supreme Council of Islamic Affairs, Mohammed Saidu Abubakar III, have all joined the calls for the protesters to leave the streets. It is without doubt that there is hunger and hardship in the country, but civil unrest is not the solution, as it would only aggravate the already frail state of the nation. NIREC hereby calls on fellow citizens of Nigeria to please call up the protest and give the government a chance to redeem itself, they said in a joint statement. Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Ebonlua, also asked protesters to withdraw themselves from their various protest grounds and to suspend the protests immediately and indefinitely to give room for meaningful dialogue and engage with the government. Given that the protests were said to have been hijacked by sponsored agents, it is necessary to avoid further losses and casualties. The organizers of the protests and their representatives should embrace dialogue with the government, he said. The army has also condemned the looting and violence and greeted the protests, but appealed to the protesters to shun destruction. So we want to call on all Nigerians to understand the government. If you have grievances, which I know you people have, a lot of challenges here and there, and it is not only in Nigeria alone. Everywhere in the world is facing economic or security crisis or the other. And so it is important to understand that we are not alone. The Chief Defense Staff, CDS, General Christopher Musa, said in Friday briefing, but what we can do is not allow criminals and individuals that have lost out to take advantage of this to destroy our country. We should realize that these destructions, monies, have to be used to replace them so that we can move forward. That brings an end to our news headlines for the week, and in somber reflections, BCB pays tributes to the Queen of Song, Onyeka, who died last Tuesday, 30th of July, at the age of 72. Thank you for listening, and goodbye, friends.
This is the Broadcasting Corporation of Biafra, BCB.
This is BCB, and this is Rosama. We are back. We apologize for the silence for quite some time, but we are now back. Things are happening in Nigeria. Nigeria has been in the news. In the past week, the lamentation from Nigeria has been that Nigeria is not working. Well, Nigeria has not been working for a long time. But added to the Nigeria is not working is the lamentation about hunger. We are hungry. The people are hungry. There is no work. There are no opportunities. These are not new sentiments or complaints. They have always been there. We hate to say we told you so. At least BCB pointed out several times that Nigeria is a broken state. Nigeria is a failed state. And the signs have always been there. A dysfunctional government, a discontent citizenry, corruption, high rate of poverty, laws not working. We warned you. We told you so. Nobody listened. Nobody listened. So, Nigerians, welcome to the madness that Biafrans have been experiencing for a long, long time. This is what we have been telling you, but no, you wanted to scapegoat Biafrans and blame them for all the madness in Nigeria. No. In fact, if anybody has been scapegoated, it's been Biafrans. So welcome to the insanity that is called Nigeria. You get to experience it. Here is a country with enormous wealth, yet over 80% of the population is in abject poverty. Today on American National Public Radio, the newscaster indicated that the cost of rice, one bag of rice, has gone up to 75,000 naira in comparison to the 70,000 naira a month, which is the average salary for any worker. That is, if you're lucky. In other words, you're not making enough money to buy food to place on your table. Talk about paying your rent, sending your kids to school, paying for medical bills, or anything else. Well, no wonder people are hungry. You are living in a debt culture. The country is broke. It is not broke because it didn't have resources or wealth, but it is broke because your leaders have robbed you of your wealth, your collective wealth. So now you suffer after helping that rogue get into office, hijack government, hijack elections. Actually, there wasn't an election, at least not one that's respected by anybody. Most of you stood still and enabled him to hijack it. And now you are all complaining. Well, shame, shame, shame. You know, as the saying goes, as you make your bed, so shall you sleep in it. So sleep in it. I have no sympathies. This Rose Ama has absolutely no sympathies for those wringing their hands, complaining, whining right now that they are hungry, that they're suffering because the government is corrupt, because the government is bad. We told you so. We warned you. We talked about it. We said Nigeria has a huge problem. We called your attention to the atrocities Nigeria, the state of Nigeria, was committing against Biafrans, especially Igbos. But did you care? And now you want Igbos to care? And now you want the whole world to listen? And now you want Igbos to join you in your protest? Well, if they don't join you, as they are saying, they do have the right. They have the right to protest or not to protest. So, we're back. What do you want? I talked to a student in an institution outside the country who was emailing me for some work. The young Nigerian student said they didn't care about what was happening in the country because the country was a disgrace. So, yes, Nigeria is the laughingstock of the world, the most corrupt country in the world, the most horrible place to do business in the world, in West Africa, or in Africa for that matter. This is your legacy now. Fix it. It is now your responsibility to fix it. It doesn't stop us from talking about Biafra because we have been talking about it. And part of fixing Nigeria is addressing the problem, the issue, the topic, the very, very important and urgent topic of Biafra. Let us go, or at least face us and address the question of Biafra. Well, we're back. I will save the topic for another time. This is Rose Ama, and this is BCB, the Broadcasting Corporation of Biafra. I wish you peace, survival, and a hopeful future. Join us next time for news, cultural, and educational programs. This is the Broadcasting Corporation of Biafra, BCB.
to